Greetings, minions, survivalists, and fellow gamers. This is Silverblade, and this is a review of the game Subsistence by Cold Games. I've been given a copy of this game from the developers for free, and all I have to do is do a review, so this is it. So anyways, this game starts out pretty easy. You just go right to the menu, so you don't have any cut screens, you don't have any logo screens, any production screens, none of that. It just gives you the Unreal logo and then pow, right into this game. So here is the options you can do. You can do a co-op of the game, and it takes a little bit to pop up, but you could play multiplayer, you could play against hunters or not. You can do PvP, whatever floats your boat. You can host it, you can join it. Lots of options on here. You can have male or female characters, all well and good. And then there's the solo game. And as you can see, I've been playing this game for a bit. I started in the month of March, and I've been playing 119 days with only 2 deaths. However, it is on the easy mode. You can toggle on and off the hunters. You can make it so the hunters don't attack you, or they'll revenge attack you in periodic attacks, or only revenge attack you. So I've set it to no attacks because I'm just getting used to this game. I just got it a few days ago. I first saw this game played by Haladmer, a good friend of mine, and he did a small series on the game, and I thought it was interesting, but at that point it wasn't quite polished enough to what I would like, and also I couldn't afford it. Later I've seen videos by Cage848 and Queen Bee, who I didn't know before, but just searched her on YouTube and found her series on this game, and she's really good at it and also worth your eyeballs, so check out her channel. But anyways, I've been running it since March in-game, and I have it set so that the days per year is 365 days. So I'm in the middle of summer now. I could change the month if I wish. I don't want to. Whoops. That's just going to continue from the last game. Cool. So we'll get into the game a little bit. And it usually loads pretty quickly, at least on my machine. There we are. So, kind of give you the grand tour of things. This is my base. It's in the middle of the lake down here, and as you can see, the map is pretty decent in size. It's not too big to make you get lost. Well, you could still get lost, but not that bad. But you know, I've still got some area left unexplored. But it's here on this island that I made my base, and it's addicting fun. It really is. But you got wind power for powering up your base, and as you can see, power is going up. And you have mass, which is whatever mass is in the game, but that helps you determine what you can craft. So like if I wanted to make another wind turbine, it requires 12 scrap metal, 6 adhesive, 3 circuit boards, and 2 rope. It also requires 600 power and 200 mass. And since I don't have mass up to 200 yet, I'll have to take like wood or some other materials and put it in the recycler to add mass to it. Or I can take and put a mass fabricator on, turn it on, it'll use up power, but it'll build up mass. You can also turn on the overdrive to get double the mass for 3 times the power. So there's that. Over here I have kind of my kitchen. These here are my vegetables and ingredients. Like right here I have rotten meat, which I can put into animal traps like fish traps to lure in fish and trap them. I have antidotes for when I get infected, biofuel for running the generator, and also for medicines. Fish oil helps in making medicinal tonics and such things like that. So you got your assortment of stuff. Some things you can grow on your own, and you get seeds for that. Like tomatoes, you can only get from seeds that you find in storage crates, whereas potatoes, onions, carrots, you can find those laying around and either get the seeds or the plant, or you can take and break them down into seeds. Alright, as you progress in the game, you can make an oven, and you get hash browns, liver and onions, steak and eggs, honey glazed pork and vegetables. You can make your pot, that's a frying pan with a pot. You can make boiled eggs, mashed potatoes, tomato soup, chicken stew, mixed berry jam, and there's the ingredients for these kind of things right here, so you don't really lose track of how it's made. Then you got the advanced, well, I would consider the advanced recipes for rabbit casserole, fish pie, roast chicken, and roast ribs, and these two are the best things to make in the game. So if you get chickens and you raise them to level 10, you can make this if you have these materials as well. And if you have killed a moose or a deer, I believe you can, that's where you get the rack of ribs. And you get these ingredients. It takes 200 power to make that, but boy, it really boosts up your health and your stamina, and it really does a number there. And then you can also craft a refrigerator. So, right here I have fish, I have eggs, although I don't think these need to be refrigerated. It's just something locked in my head that, oh, it's eggs, you don't want them out and about being spoiled, so here you go. So as you can see, I got a rack of ribs, got chicken. I made a few things, but you can get raw steaks, you can get pork chops, liver, and then you get fat. You can get that off of animals, and the fat you can render into biofuel. And here is where you can basically get, when you first start off, you start off with a little campfire. Let's see, where is that? Right here. And it doesn't take much to make, but you can basically get 3 cooking slots. Then you put your wood in here, and an ignition source, which would be a fire starting kit or matches. And then you burn the fuel. You can render fat like I have done here, and then you get ashes. Ashes you can actually make use of. So I just put those in there, and then the main use that I found for ashes is fertilizer, so you can grow your own plants. So right here I have tomatoes growing in here, pretty much in every one of these beds except this one. But they need water and fertilizer. Now they mainly only need water. You can let it go without fertilizer, I believe. It just takes a whole lot longer to grow. Growing requires light as well. Now I have these lights here. As you can see, it makes it 100% all the time. You turn it off, and it only, right now it only is getting 85% light. Now that's either because you have shade coming down, or there's a cloud going across the sun, and that. I'll show you that in just a second. Over here is one of the drop boxes you can get. It's ammo box, so you hold down on that and you can get bullets and parts to make more ammo. So you can have right now it seems like the weapon selection is kind of limited. So right here we have an assault rifle, let's see, a pistol, assault rifle, and a pump action shotgun. I also, especially in the beginning, start off with a bow and arrow. Oh, I forgot to mention it. This right here is an automatic miner. So basically your mining drill uses up power just like the mass extractor. Or the, yeah. And you can either mine out these things automatically using power, or you can find them on rocks, like over here, here, or in this case over here, but they're scattered all over the map where you can find those resources. Another thing I could show you. When you see the X, you can't attack it anymore, so you get no more wood. That will regenerate after like 15 minutes every reload of the game or whatnot. So they never really truly expire, but for right now I cannot get any more wood out of that. You'll find things, and this is something I had a hard time with at first. Let's see if I could find one around here. But right here, you'll find medicinal herbs, so you pick those. Let's see. Right here. These little bastards right here are hard to see sometimes. And the best way to see them is from a very far distance. You can kind of see the outline of it rendering in. See how it switched like that? So that, I didn't realize that at first, so I went hunting all over for fiber, and that's how you get that. And it's the same way with other plants that you can pick up. Like right here's another thing of medicinal plants. Carrots, onions, and potatoes are kind of the same way. But once you get the seeds for those, you don't really need to worry about that. You need to, you can grow them. Like I have tomatoes right here. There are some plants that do not grow or do not come in seed form. So let me dispense with this. And those things are like strawberries, blueberries. Apples do not spawn in the world, so you can't even pick those up from plants. You can pick these up laying around, in the plants on the ground, but apples you have to find only in crates. Same thing with protein bars. Kelp you can find on the bottom of lakes. And this lake is fairly decent at producing kelp from time to time. Right over here is another way to generate power. Is there's no wind right now, so it ain't generating any power. So these here are my solar panels, and as you can see, I have them upgraded all the way. But right now they're getting 100% light, and they're producing 0.13 power. And I have 4 of them for right now. I'm going to be putting in some more in due time. So I can keep generating power. At night, of course, they're not going to be any good. And then I'll start losing power because I have the refrigerator using power, and a few other appliances making use of the power. And so that gets dwindled down over time. This here is a refinery, so you could take things like iron and potassium, copper and zinc and sandstone. You put them in here like so, and now it's using up more power to break that down into iron ingots and the like. Actually, it's more like iron fragments, zinc and such, so you can make other things. Here's the workbench where you can go to a double barrel shotgun, a lever action rifle, a recurve bow, premium arrows. You can make all of this kind of stuff from the workbench, and they're useful, so it helps out. In this game, when you go into the water, I'm going to go in here because I'm hot right now. You see at the very top of the screen, that's your oxygen meter, and if you have the oxygen meter get to the very bottom of it, you start drowning. So the game is introduced. Let's see if we can get up here. Oh, hey, that just magically appeared right in front of me. Alright, that's nice. A diving station, so you can make diving gear, which I do already have, and then oxygen tanks, which consume... When you go underwater, it switches from the oxygen you would normally breathe into the bottled air. When that container is empty, it disappears, so it's a consumable. And I had better drink some water, because as you notice over here, I have proteins up, fruits and vegetables are up, but my water is real low. So I'll just hit E, drink some water. And now my canteen is empty, so I gotta refill it up. So I'll hit E, fill it up with dirty water. And then I'll put it in there to purify it. So yeah, these are the consumable air tanks, and this will go on your person over here. And as you can see, you have clothing items that you can make. When you are in various seasons, there's the outside temperature, and that will affect you in certain ways. So like here in the summertime, I can get heat stroke. I can, start taking damage from not being cool enough. In the wintertime or the early spring, late fall, I can freeze. So these things here not only keep me warm or protected from the elements, but they can also protect me from bullets and damage from critters and people. Alright, so we got that part done. Over here is my free-range chicken coops. So over here, I don't have any in the coops right now. I don't have any critters in there. But you give them food and water just like you would with plants. You upgrade their coops for animal slots. And there's a feces tray which you can collect their poop that you can use as fertilizer. And then free range means they can wander around and not need as much food and water. And also they can level up. And you want the maximum level so that you can get the most out of the animal. So it takes a few days go from level 0 or level 1 to level 10, but works out pretty good. And I find that tomatoes are a good plant to feed them because they also provide hydration. So it's not just the fruits and vegetables thing, it's also the hydration. And here's my seed bin. So this has got some extra water, which I use to water my plants. And then it's got the seeds, and I keep enough seeds, just enough seeds to plant for all of them. I haven't upgraded this yet. But once I get a grow light, I can put that in. I can get the, I get another upgrade to improve the efficiency of it. It all works out. And as you can just probably noticed, these just grew up a step, so excellent. Okay, so once we got that done, let's see what else is there. Now, these here, this is where you get the power. So over in here at the base command unit, when you build a base, you're completely free to do whatever you want to do, unattacked. You don't have any enemies to attack, or you can turn them off. But you can build your base up, and then you put in a base command unit. Gives you options to build improved things, obviously. But when you do put this in, then the hunters will appear in the game. And the hunters, if you have them turned on, they'll appear every couple days. That kind of like checks to see, all right, how many hunters is in the game, all right? Do we want to come in and make a base here? and then even then they can go away. They decide to go away. There's also rogues, which they don't have bases, they just have a campfire, and they will attack you or the other hunters. So they're like a third faction in a way. There's actually 4, but that's something more advanced that you might want to look at if you play the game. It adds a new dimension, having a third faction in the game to keep you on your toes. But so that's this stuff. Now I found the hunters are a pain in the butt. If you get near their base, like over right there, see I'm right here, there's a base right here, and there's a base actually right here. Hard to see from here. But yeah, right over there is another hunter base, and there's one right there. Previously there was a rogue base just beyond those rocks right there, and well, they're not there anymore because I took them out. But they'll come back, they'll respawn, set up a little camp around here, and they'll either be there or they'll disappear. You know, they decide to leave. You can go fishing in this game. So let me see if I can demonstrate that. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna put my light there and then put that in. So, kind of what you want to do is stand on the shore, kind of in the water. Usually is best, and you can just right click to cock it and left click to throw it. And you just wait a little bit. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to wiggle around. Don't have to reel or anything. And you'll know when the fish is on when they just snag it and go right clean under. You'll hear a plunk like that, and then you left click, and if you got it hooked, you reel it in, quite like I'm doing right now. And it looks like I got a perch, which is a small fish that doesn't really give you a lot of benefits right now. It keeps you fed at least, but not much more than that. Okay, so you land the fish, you check out your prize. So there's that, and then what you can do is you can either cook it. See, my water's done, so you can pop it on here to cook. You can, let's see, I'll swap that. You can put it in the freezer and save it for later. But that's all you can do with this level of fish. Now, if you get the bigger fish, the salmon, the largemouth bass, the pike, and I thought there was another fish in here, but you can fillet them, and salmon, of course, give you salmon fillets. Largemouth bass and the northern pike will give you just fish steaks. The other fish would be catfish, but I haven't caught any of those yet. But you get, depending on what fish you get a certain number of fish steaks and then fish oil. And of course the fish oil is useful for making medicines and the like. Now there's also things you can make in here like strength boost, heat pack, insect repellent, and that helps when you're trying to harvest honey. Health kits and adrenaline boosts, and they each have their own advantages and all that, but you know they cost different for each one, but they come in handy. As for critters, it's nighttime now. You can see northern lights are all kicking in, but the hunters don't bother me much. They don't scare me. even though I'm on an easy level and got them pretty much where they're not going to attack me, at least attack my base. The things that really terrorize me a bit in the game is things like moose, wolves, and bears, and cougars. Now, if you are going hunting for moose and cougar, you can get sinew, which is essential to making rope, which is one of the things you need to make more advanced things. For instance, to make a solar panel requires 1 rope. Wind turbines require 2 rope. There's iron, copper, zinc, potassium nitrate. Let's see what else is there. Phosphates are in the caves underwater. But also there is pearls. You'll see. Don't see them up here right now, but if you dive in the water and look around, you'll sometimes see clams, and if you hit them with your rock pick tool twice, they'll open up and they'll have a big old shiny pearl for you. And if you collect the pearls, you can make certain things, like for instance, circuit boards, which require 4 copper fragments, 6 electrical components, and 2 pearls. And then, of course, the more advanced things require circuit boards and rope, and also alloy sheets and things like that. So there's all that there. If you attack the as you can see, you can actually see some of these guys' campfires at night. Yeah, right up there. Apparently, let's see if I can get this. If you look right up there, there's a campfire, and that's a group of rogues up there. So apparently they've respawned. Sometimes they appear on the other side too, but see over there you'll see some lights. That's one of the hunters' camps there, and over there is the other one. But yeah, you'll occasionally see these guys. You can also see them. It helps to be at night, but you can see them on the map. Let's see if there's any others out here. Okay, there's one hunter camp. There's the other. So apparently those right now are the only rogue camps near me that that the map can see. But if you have it where they'll attack or retaliate, then you have to keep an eye out for those. Let's see, what else is there? So right here's my free-range chicken, which isn't so much free-range. Garden plots, power generation, some storage, and then for storage, if you go to label, you can actually put certain labels on here. I can show you a better example right here. So I basically label these so I could see what it is and be reminded of what it is in here. But if you go to labels, you can change it any one of these things you want to basically say, hey, this is where my this is, or this is my group of food is, or resources are, things like that. And I'm trying to remember what else I need to show, but that all being said, there's a lot to this game. It's constantly being updated, so it's really, really nice that the developers are keeping up with it. It's been going around for a few years. So yeah, you have your seasons. You have early spring, mid-spring, late spring, summer. You have fall. In the wintertime, this lake will freeze over, and there'll be snow everywhere, which is quite obvious because it's winter. But you can actually come out on the ice, chip away and break a hole in the ice, and dive into it. Now, I wouldn't be willing to do that because that makes me feel quite claustrophobic and hydrophobic. Just the idea of being underwater that's ice cold, and your only way of getting out is this tiny little hole that you may or may not see. That's kind of terrifying. So there is that. Certain plants only grow in certain seasons. So like if you wanted to find cotton, and cotton is a very essential plant to some recipes, most of the time you're only going to be able to find them in supply chests, and it's at random. But in the fall, you can find these cotton plants growing around in certain places. In the springtime, blueberries grow fairly regularly, and they grow in the summer as well. But strawberries do not grow in the spring. I don't know if they'll grow in the fall. And then there's a third plant. Let me see if I can figure it out here. Rosehip berries only grow pretty much in either fall, or the late fall, or winter time, and that's the only time that you'll see these growing around here in the wild. As you can see, the night times are pretty short, so you're not sitting around doing nothing at night for the most part, except maybe looking after your base and things like that. So let's go see if we can conjure up a wolf or a grizzly bear. And I'll show you what combat is kind of like. And it is quite terrifying because bears are insanely powerful, and your weapons really aren't all that powerful. So it takes a good number of hits to drop one, and they can shred you. So I'm not saving this particular segment, but as you can see, there is fiber plant right here and right here. Now you can also find chickens and rabbits around here. Now rabbits you have to shoot, and it's always best to shoot the small game with bow and arrow because you'll ruin them with the guns. So if you want a rabbit for your rabbit hutch, chicken coop, whatever, it pays to just shoot them with a bow and arrow. You cannot chase these little bastards all that well. Oh, that's my grenade arrow, so I better not. But yeah, chickens on the other hand, you can shoot. You know, sometimes more often than not they'll die, but you can wound them, and that's how you gain. You know, take them back to your base to run around in their chicken coop. The other way to do it is you can actually chase chickens and catch them. If your stamina is good and you're quick enough, because they're fast little buggers. Now right here is a wolf. And you hear that growl? That's the warning growl. You get any closer and he will really go at you. Alright, so now we can butcher it. And you got steak, and then you get some cloth and some fat, which you can take back to render. Now you see that there's blood on your hands because you're a criminal. Well, you're actually supposed to wash that off. Because after a long period of time, I don't know how long, if you don't wash it off, you'll get infected. And that'll really mess with your health and stamina. So if you kill an animal like a moose, a bear, whatever, it's best that you take time out to wash your hands. Okay, so found a case here. Alright, right there's a bear and a wolf, and there's a hunter. Now he ain't gonna bother me unless I get too close to his base or he gets too close to me. So what I like to do is piss him off. Give him a little warning shot. Now, he might not come over this way because the bear is between him and I. See if we can lure him over here, but there's a wolf there. Shit. Oh, double shit. See, I'm in real trouble right now. Because I'm caught between a bear, oh shit, and a hunter. And I broke my leg. And I'm dead. So it can get kind of complicated. Now, the hunters are not so good with the shooting unless they have to be. So we'll respawn. And the thing about respawning is I'm all the way up here. And now you can see your death skull there. That's where your body is at, and also because you don't have anything on you, where all your goods are at. So you want to get your stuff back, well, you got to go through all of that. And they'll disappear after a certain time, which sucks. So yeah, these things will spawn in from time to time. There's medical bags, there's resource bags, boxes, see, medical resource, and also ammo. And then there's a special one that you need a lockpick for. So we'll just continue from the last save. We'll go back to base. Everything's been undone, and I'll show you what you need for those. So it'll take just a second. Okay, so back to the base. You need a lockpick. So that is what you need to get into a special box that you can't open otherwise, and they appear randomly across the map, but like in certain regions, like over here, around in here, kind of they appear. I believe they pop up around in here a little bit. Around in here, there's a lake way up here that I haven't been to, but I've read about, and they'll appear kind of around the lake. I think there's another region somewhere in here where they'll pop up too, but that's where the really good stuff is. And yeah, but overall, that is a big taste of what Subsistence is about. In my opinion, the game could still use some refining. The cost of materials can be fairly high, especially when you're in the beginning stages of the game. The hunters aren't really a problem. Of course, I'm only on the easy level, and with the hunters almost neutered. They don't attack even if they're attacked. At least they're not attacking my base as it is. But they will attack me if I attack them out in the open, like you just seen. They could be turned down just a little bit so they're not as deadly. Another thing is to attack their base, to loot their base. I think that things like Molotov cocktails, which require, well, first of all, Molotov cocktails require a distillery, so you can make alcohol, and then you have to have this stuff. I think that it's a little on the costly side for it, and they don't really do so much damage that they're OP. So I think lowering the cost for them would probably be beneficial, as well as like grenades are a little bit expensive, and grenades help out a little bit better, but they're not going to crack a door in one shot. Things like breaching charges. Let me see if I can show you that. You put that on a door, there's a timer, you get the hell away, boom, the door goes all over the place, and then it just leaves a big smoky haze, and then you can enter in the door, because otherwise you have to use an axe or a pick, and they get worn out, so you have to carry extras, and they'll probably be like 2, 3, maybe 4 pickaxes that you need to use to break down one door or wall. That's a bit expensive, so they're a little bit weak in that regard. Nowhere near as powerful as Molotov, which burns over a period of time, or the grenade, which explodes, and then they can be used in a combat situation. So I think that some of the costs are a little bit out of balance. The animals, they are scary. I mean, you'd hate to come up like I did there with getting trapped between a wolf, a bear, and a hunter. Of course, I got guns and plenty of ammo, and it took me a long time just to get some of this ammo. But to use a gun, the bullets tend, and the shotgun shells take forever to find sometimes, especially if you're just scrounging around for them, or the parts. So on their own, each bullet is like really expensive, so you have to be, at least for me, very sparing in how much you use them, and you have to be accurate. And it's hard to be accurate when these things are jumping out at you, which is why, for cost effectiveness, the pistol is the way to go. For actual like damage, the shotgun is the way to go. And kind of like a cross between the two is where the rifle is. So there's that. Arrows, of course, you can shoot them, and if you miss, you may get your arrow back if they didn't hit a rock or something that could break them. But if you're careful, you can get that ammo back. But not if you kill an animal. So if you're going hunting for an animal, you're going to lose a few shots, and then you're going to lose lose one when you kill the animal. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass. So in that regard, I'm not really happy with that. Although I'm at a stage now in the game where that's not really as much of a problem as it used to be. Sometimes you gotta hunt down specific critters. So like to get the rope, you need sinew, and for sinew, you need moose and or cougars. Cougars will rip the shit out of you, which is cool, and they terrify the hell out of you. Moose, at least when it's not rutting season, which is in the fall, they're pretty skittish, so you have to stalk them. You shoot them once, they'll run off for a few yards, and then they stop, unless something else startles them. And then you can shoot them again, and then they're like, okay, game on, and they'll come and charge you. And never underestimate the power and terror that comes from a moose, because those antlers are not for show. I've had broken legs. I've been killed. I've had all sorts of mess from moose, and so that's cool. It keeps you on your toes, so you're not lulled into thinking, "Oh, it's just harmless. It's not gonna hurt me." It will fuck you up. So you have to be aware of that. So yeah, there's some things that I think the game should tweak a little bit. That should be a little bit more balanced. But then there's things in this game that are really interesting, like power generation, the growing of plants, the seasonal aspect of plants. I played a few survival games, and everything's the same. Like these plants over here. Of course, in this game, these grow all year round, but to find a blueberry bush, they only appear in like 1 or 2 seasons of the year, and you need them for making jam jars or juices, drink. So you need them, but they only appear 2 seasons of the year. And the same with strawberries. You need them with the blueberries. And then you need the berries that come in the wintertime, the rosehips. So you have to save them up over the year and not eat them, even though they're widely available, if you can help it. And so that part is actually quite cool, that the flora and fauna react to different time scales in the game. And it adds a new dimension to things. There's also the freezing of the lake in the wintertime, and you have to be bundled up like hell for wintertime because you'll freeze to death. Well, certain animals are doing certain things in the wintertime, and you want to go fishing, which is the easiest source of free food, and well, you have to chip a hole in the ice, and that aspect of the game is pretty cool. I haven't seen that in other survival games, so there's a lot of potential in this game, and I think it's addictive for me. So it might be addictive for you. So if you got an addictive personality, be warned, it'll keep you playing for many hours and many days of real time just to get somewhere in game time. So as you can see here, yeah, I'm in July, 360 days a year. You can change this so that the year is shorter, but I opted to go with more realistic approach to that. So anyways, that's my review of Subsistence. Let's go to the main menu here. It's a really fun game. A lot of good things brought up that add to the survival genre. It's not like I'm more familiar with zombie games where zombies will come and get you and you have to survive as well, and so it combines survival elements and zombies. This here doesn't have the zombies. You can opt to have the hunters in the game and hunting you down. You can opt to have the hunters in the game and not hunt you down or retaliate. Or you can just play it as a pure survival game with no hunters chasing you around. And I like that, where you have the options to set your enemy or no enemy, the difficulty of that. So, thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you for Coldplay Games for giving me this copy of the game. I have been interested in this game for a couple years now, and now that I got it, can't really put it down. Anyways, that is all for me. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you later.